Breaking news concerning the U.S. economy.
And it's gone.
What?
It's gone. It's all gone.
Not socialism.
All right, let's not panic.
And it's gone.
I'll make the money back by selling one of my livers. I can get by with one.
Government should be a partner. Partner.
I don't need anybody's money. It's nice. I'm really rich.
And it's gone. Gone.
Hello and welcome to the very first edition of the Global Crypto Market Analysis with myself, James Preston.
And myself, Graham Tennant.
And it's a very exciting episode, of course, because this is the first market analysis under our new brand, Global Crypto, as after 2.5 years of being SA Crypto, we are now officially Global Crypto. We have the brand new podcast series, the Global Crypto Podcast, so check it out on Apple, Spotify, and YouTube. But for now, we wanted to make this very quick market analysis because, Graham, you are expecting some serious volatility, and that's causing you to take a position because the risk to reward ratio is pretty high. Tell us what you're seeing and why.
Right, so this is a 3-day chart. So we've zoomed out a little bit further back than what we usually do. And I just wanted to give you, the viewers, an appreciation of where we've come from to get to where we are. So starting back 2015, Bitcoin you could get for around $200, and we shot the lights out over the next year or two, and topped out close to $20,000. So, and what we've seen since then is largely a contraction of that volatility, forming the symmetrical triangle. So personally, this is just about the biggest continuation pattern or symmetrical triangle I've seen on any chart, over the time I've been trading. And this is the reason that I'm really bullish, not just because of the fundamental reasons for Bitcoin, but the chart is telling you here that something big is going to come if we can break to the upside of this symmetrical triangle, which is generally a continuation pattern. And obviously, if we get anything close to what we've had pre this triangular setup, if we have that coming out of this triangle, it's going to be pretty spectacular. So that's really the big picture that I'm seeing. And if we drill down into a little bit more detail in this triangle, we've had a really nice run recently since the lows that were off the back of the coronavirus fears, where we did have sub $4,000 Bitcoin, and we've had a really good recovery all the way back up to 10. So it's been pretty spectacular in itself, but I think it could get even more ridiculous. So, and basically the bottom line is that when this price breaks out of this triangular pattern, I definitely want to be in the market to participate in that move. So, and what I would particularly, what I would usually expect with this type of price action, given the strong run that we've had over the last month or so, is that we would get a retracement, and potentially that would be moved down to test at the 6-8 zone, which is that blue zone we've spoken about. Maybe get a little bit of more resistance at the top part of the trend line, and then move up out of that triangle. So that's what I would typically expect. Another scenario that we could potentially have is a more prolonged scenario, and that would mean not only a test of 6-8, but potentially even lower to the bottom part of the trend line, and we would then need to store up more volatility and more energy in order to then break to the upside of the triangle once again. So those are the two higher probability scenarios that I expected originally, looking at this view. But when we zoom in closer to a 4-hour chart and the smaller time frames, I'm starting to get a little bit of a different picture. So I want to drill down and take you through that.
All right, well, please do. I'm very excited to see just how volatile a move you're expecting.
Sure. So this is the 4-hour time frame. So we've made quite a big move here down to the lower time frame view. But what we can see here is that Bitcoin just hasn't given up on its assault of this 10K level, and you can see how this 10K level is also coinciding with the top resistance level trend line of the symmetrical triangle, and these two levels is creating a strong resistance. But we can see that every time we've been up to this 10K level or this upper trend line, Bitcoin has had a bit of a pullback, but it hasn't been anything significant. So this was the most significant move that we had from 10K down to around 8. And that's a 20% drop, which, I mean, it's not nothing, but compared to, or at least by Bitcoin standards, it's nothing of an exceptional magnitude. I really was expecting a further move down to the 6-8. And again, that would allow us to build up some more momentum and then have another move at an assault of 10K. But what we've seen is that every time it's moved off this 10K, Bitcoin has come back, and the bulls have kept on pushing, and we've had this bunching up of price action around this level. And that's leading me to start to think, there is an increasing probability that this level that is being bombarded with so much force by the bulls actually at some stage does give way. And even though this is not what I would typically expect, like I explained on the larger time frame, it's not to say that it's not possible. And we've seen this bullish action that we've had since the bottom. We've had the halvening, we've had the coronavirus fears, and then we've had the Fed printing money. So there's a whole lot of factors that could speak to the possibility for this actually to be leading us to an event where we do break to the upside. And again, if that happens, I'm expecting some significant volatility to the upside. Having said that, we could expect equally some really substantial movement to the downside if we break to the downside of the structure. And that's the reason for this volatility expansion is the volatility contraction that we're seeing right now. So those are my views in a nutshell. But as a result of this expected volatility, that's the reason I'm looking to put on a long trade at this point in time.
So just take us through that long trade. What is there a break that you're expecting to enter the market into, that you're eyeing out? And do you have a target in mind?
Okay, so I'm going to go out a little bit further so we can get a bigger picture of where I expect us to potentially go. And for me, the first obvious target, if we do get a breakout of this triangle on a bigger time frame chart, is the previous all-time high. So I think that if we can break out of here, and this is not a prediction, but I think that there's a decent probability that we go fairly quickly back to the all-time high if we can break out of this macro continuation pattern that I've explained at the first part of the video. So that is my target. It's that 19,666 was the exact all-time high that we had, at least on the Bitstamp market. So that is effectively my target. Obviously, we'll see how things go. If it does start to lose momentum at that stage, which will be great, I am willing to take some profit earlier. But what I've gone for is a really tight stop loss here. So, and this must come with a disclaimer, is that I am putting this on with leverage. I am monitoring my risk very closely, and you must do that when you're going to have expected high volatility. So it does come with quite a high risk disclaimer. But for me, I'm looking to enter. Well, look, I already have entered a position at current levels. My stop loss I've put at just just below $9,120, and yeah, that's the setup I'm going with.
All right. And you said to me earlier off the recording that you're about 50-50, but because, as you've just said, with a target of $19,000, because you are seeing such a high reward to your risk, it's worth taking that risk. So even though you are 50-50, if things do move into this bullish parabolic breakout, then it's worth opening this position.
That's right. So, I mean, the risk-reward ratio on this trade is almost 15-1. That means that I can get, if I get 1 in 10 right in the scenario, I'm still going to be making money. So for me, that's the main reason that I'm putting on this trade, is because I as you said, I think the risk-reward ratio is too good not to take up. And yeah, I think this could just as easily move to the downside as it can move to the upside. So I'm not overly bullish. But yeah, I really want to be in this trade if we do break out of this triangle, because I think that will be a very, very significant event for Bitcoin that I definitely want to be a part of.
Well, Graham, that is really interesting. And if we do see a breakout, then that is going to be very exciting indeed. We're going to leave it there, folks. We will come back next week with an update on this analysis, this trade in particular. It could be a couple of days for it to materialize, and it may not materialize at all. So we will be back. That's it for the very first edition of the Global Crypto Market Analysis. Please don't forget to subscribe to us right here on YouTube, and of course share this with friends and family that you think would benefit from seeing this kind of analysis. From myself, James Preston.
And myself, Graham Tennant.
It's goodbye until next time.
Cheers for now.
Breaking news concerning the U.S. economy.
And it's gone.
What?
It's gone. It's all gone.
Not socialism.
All right, let's not panic.
And it's gone.
I'll make the money back by selling one of my livers. I can get by with one.
Government should be a partner. Partner.
I don't need anybody's money. It's nice. I'm really rich.
And it's